Hi, my name is Corey Malloy, and this video is about my journey with endometriosis and what I did for natural treatment. That was with the help of my naturopathic doctor. His name is Dr. Greg Yingling, and he is located in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you want to know anything about him or contact him, I'm going to link his information in the description box below. And first, I just want to preface that every woman's journey is completely different with endometriosis. If you are not someone that suffers with endometriosis, but you know somebody or you just want to learn about it, it's just medically defined as a condition, disorder, disease where the tissue that normally grows inside your uterus is growing in abnormal anatomical locations. So that could be inside your fallopian tubes or on your ovaries, liver, pelvic cavity, etc. And that is usually coupled with very painful menstrual cycles as well as chronic pain depending on where the tissue has manifested itself. I know that feeling of driving away from your OB-GYN after you get that first diagnosis and you were just thinking, my reproductive organs are failing me and they are rotting away and my only option is to eventually get a hysterectomy. There are absolutely alternative options than what your OB-GYN gives you as the ultimatum at the end of the day. I had not had a cycle yet, and 3 months later I woke up one morning and I had some light cramping, and then that turned into me calling my husband at work and having him come home to take me to the emergency room because I thought that I was having a miscarriage. I was in full-on what I thought was labor. Contractions were lasting about 30 seconds to a minute, and with only 5 seconds of relief in between. This went on for about 2 to 3 hours, and with each contraction, I had just like fluid coming out of my nose and my eyes and my mouth, and I was blacking out and I was throwing up and I couldn't move and I couldn't talk. And so by the time that my husband came home, the plan was to go to the ER. I could not get off the floor, so we didn't go to the emergency room and we just waited it out. By the end of it, I still thought maybe it was a miscarriage. I had talked to my mom about it. I'd kind of waited it out. I didn't pass anything. So I was a little confused by it, but then I just kind of forgot about it. And then 2 months later is when my next cycle came and the same exact thing happened again. And this happened for the next year. Finally, I went into an OB-GYN and she diagnosed me with endometriosis, and she said, here are your 3 options: surgery, get pregnant, or number 3 was getting back on birth control pills. And I, of course, had 100 questions for her, like, is endometriosis curable? Her answer was no. Is endometriosis naturally treatable? She said, absolutely not. What causes endometriosis? She says, we have no idea. Why would birth control pills help? She said, and this is very true, that birth control pills take away your cycle completely, which is a little known fact. In fact, I did not know that whenever I was on birth control pills. That was just not what I wanted to do because I was just so confused on why I couldn't find the root cause of this disease and that it wasn't an option to go find the root cause. And I left her office bawling my eyes out. I was not expecting that news, and it was all very overwhelming. And it was on my way home that I called Dr. Greg Yingling's office. Just the night before, I was at Bible study and I was sharing for the very first time in a group setting what I was dealing with. And a woman in my Bible study, she said, I felt like God had given me the word estrogen. Like, I feel like you may have an estrogen issue. And there's this guy, and she calls him her voodoo doctor. He just, works miracles. And she gave me his name. She said, no pressure, but whatever your OB-GYN tells you, there's gonna be another option. So that stuck with me. I had his name, I had his number. I left the doctor's office, my OB-GYN's office. I called Dr. Yingling, and his receptionist answered, and I said, hey, I don't even know if this is something y'all do, but have you ever treated endometriosis naturally? Is it possible to treat it naturally? And she was like, absolutely. When can you come in? So I came in that next day. I was extremely optimistic and hopeful at this point because I had heard so many good things about him, and just the relief of somebody telling me, yes, there are other options was huge. And so I went into his office. He did a major series of muscle testing. That's one of the main things he does, and that is using the strength of the muscle to test. It's like a biofeedback test in which you can assess if there are any stressors on the body, and your muscle will either go weak or be strong depending on what you're testing in the body. So the biggest thing he found was the major toxic excess level of estrogen in my body, and my liver was not even able to detox. Causes of excess estrogen could be plastics, makeup, hormones that are coming from food like pork or beef, and so there are multiple things that can cause it, and that's why addressing your diet and addressing what you're putting on your skin, that's also crucial, and that's something that Dr. Yangling teaches and talks about as well. So once he found the excess of estrogen, the only thing you really can do is address your liver, because your liver is what detoxes it. So we got on a series of supplements that helped my liver, assisted my liver in being able to detox properly again, and he would test my hormones, I think I was going in every couple of weeks, and every couple of weeks my estrogen levels were going down, which is awesome. Excess estrogen can lead to ovarian cancer and breast cancer and fibroids. I mean, there's so many things that it can lead to, and that's why it's so important to get your hormones tested and tested right. Dr. Yangling had me on a stack of all-natural supplements that were addressing my individual issues related to my estrogen excess, as well as several other things. One thing that he said was just that my body, he could see just from his test alone that it was not the best environment to be able to reproduce effectively. And so that was just a major priority of ours. I just followed everything that he said. And then over the next few months, he was able to see that, yes, my hormones were responding the way that they should. And my body was slowly moving towards a place of homeostasis and normal hormone production. It's really just not this one easy fix, and it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all. That's why it's so important to get these things tested yourself and get them tested the right way. Come September, I will never forget this appointment. We sat down and he went through everything, and he was like, everything is looking really, really good. And honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if you end up calling me pretty soon and saying, hey doc, we're pregnant. And it was about a week or two later that I found out I was pregnant. And it was really exciting, and just being able to share that moment with not just your husband and your family and friends, but with your doctor, and having that sincerity. That was just a huge takeaway for me, to have a doctor care so much about your long-term health and doing everything in his power to get to the root cause of whatever is ailing you, whether it's endometriosis or PCOS or cancer. I would just encourage you, if you are suffering with this disease, go figure out what's causing it. Go get things tested. I think my biggest takeaway is just that the body is such a complex and amazing system, and it knows how to function on its own, even down to just hormone balance to reach homeostasis. And sometimes it needs a little nudge and assistance, but by going in and meeting with the right doctors and finding the root cause, you are helping yourself so much long term. If you are interested in pursuing a natural treatment and you're not in this area, I mean, my first suggestion is fly out to Florida and go see this guy, but I know that there is a network of doctors that he would trust that would be, they're all over the country and maybe all over the world. But thank you guys for watching.